weekly readings. You know, I talked about again this shifting form of energy in the latter stages of this coming week, and with those sort of Nikota, how you doing? You know, with that change of energy that's coming through. We saw that on the sun. If you haven't seen anything that's going on in the sun at the moment, we've had some M flares and some X flares and stuff like that, and it's going to be probably hitting in our direction, and it's been really high level activity. It's been maintaining. It's done a real sort of step up enormously over the past over the past 24 hours. And there's been several eruptions that I think is most definitely going to be coming our way. So it's going to be very interesting to see what sort of like goes on that sort of front. And, you know, if you've seen your weekly readings, you would know that I'm talking about, you know, it's a change into sort of fire energy and everything like that. And the air energy of which we put into it is what we have the controlling aspect over. That air energy is basically the inspirational, the mental side, and it's all about that sort of dry run that we're going through at the moment. Every week on week is a different dry run for when the energies change between March and May. We'll know what we're doing and where we're going and how we're doing it, and so forth. So it, you know, we'll be used to it, and you know, you've already got it in your stride. So then when that energy comes back, you'll be able to take bigger strides forward. So it's a progressional sort of thing, really, that's going on with the sort of energies and so forth. Yeah. So if you haven't seen your weeklies, really, you know, do go and sort of see it. So there was a couple of people, I'll wait for them to come online because I can't really see there's if anybody's online as yet, apart from you, Nikita, because I've seen that. Lovely. And yeah, there was, I think, who was it? Was it Margaret? I might have this wrong. Was it Margaret that sort of talked about her heart chakra being a little bit blocked and so forth. And there was someone else on TikTok as well, because I've been doing the dailies on TikTok and Instagram, was asking about that as well, about their some form of chakra and so forth, and seeing how it was going on with that. So yeah, it was. I thought we could go into that tonight, you know, and when we do later on, then you know, we'll have a look at, say, like if people got questions about their sort of chakras and sort of things. Hi, Coral, how you doing? You're more than welcome to ask those questions. I've put the thing on people commenting onto subscribers because I don't want to lose time with the people who also sort of support the channel and so forth. So if you haven't subscribed, you're more than welcome to subscribe and you can join in with the whole sort of thing. Yes, so yeah, that energy that's coming through. So let's talk about sort of chakras, because it does sort of like obviously the energy and stuff like that does sort of like change the way in which we engage with our chakras, and which are sort of points of energy. If you don't know what the modern concept of a chakra is all about, then, you know, they're crossing points, and within those crossing points we get certain harmonies or harmonics, which we can translate to emotional and physical sort of thing. Suli, how you doing? Lovely to see you. And so, you know, the my solar plexus has been going crazy at the moment. Really, are you? Is it? It's asking you to get on and do, as it were. Is that because sometimes? Because the thing is, everything has its yin yang factor about it, and sometimes, you know, if that solar plexus, it depends on how it's working. It could be working in a good way that sort of like drives you on, and it could be also working in a way that sort of creates that ball in your stomach, sort of thing. So it can be quite sort of depends on how it's been playing up, really. And is it can it be attributed to lots of other things in life? Maybe, who knows? I don't want to say, Cole, but yeah, the solar plexus. It seems to be becoming more and more important. Actually, the solar plexus, much more important than the heart. The heart really doesn't show up a great deal. Looking back over the chakra sequencing and so forth that we do on the messages from energy, the heart chakra doesn't really show up as regularly in a very strong way as other chakras, because I think the heart chakra is very particular in its expression, as it were, or its engagement in life. So let me just go through. I don't know if anybody knows what the origins of the idea of a chakra is all about, but let's just go into that a little bit. If we look back over time in the Hindu religion and so forth, and going back into sort of Sanskrit in a way, the chakras were like discs that the gods would use during battles, where they would throw these discs out and obviously injure the people that were, or the spirits that were in front of them and so forth. And that's the mythological sort of side of it. And I can imagine obviously it being part of, like boomerangs and stuff like that. I can imagine it being part of a form of weaponry. I can understand that as a flying disc, as it were. But in the modern times, we've come to understand it as being a chakra, which is like a rotating thing. Like a wheel, like a spinning disc, and it doesn't actually, as far as I can tell, it doesn't actually physically rotate as a chakra. What it does is, if you imagine like you're driving along the road and you're driving along the freeway or the motorway, or whatever you call it, and there's a car that drives alongside you and it's going slightly faster than you, and then you can see that you look at the wheels of the car, and sometimes it almost gives the impression that it's the wheels are not turning, it's stationary. So it's like an optical or an illusion of what's happening within a chakra. So I prefer to look at it like this, like every sort of form of chakra. It's like I don't know if you can see these lights behind me. Like a oh yeah, no. Well, let's work it like this. I think this would be a lot easier to explain it. It's like a set of Christmas tree lights that go round the Christmas tree, and when you're looking from above at the Christmas tree, it looks like a circle or a spiral. And but it's got on set mode that it goes one light after the other. So you get this impression that the actual tree is, or the lights in the tree are turning around its side. Hello, Janet. How you doing? So it turns around upon itself in a way. So we get that sensation of movement, and this comes back to that idea of the gods are the spinning discs and so forth. Now, my understanding of that is different to the idea that gods were just throwing these physical discs around. And so if you imagine, like, you've got these Christmas tree lights that come out. If you take the solar plexus, it's very simple. It looks like it's got the form of like a daffodil. So you come out and it goes like a loop, and then goes back, and then does a loop out the back of the chakra, and then comes back across the conversion point, and then goes another loop, and it's gradually drawing, that the petals of a daffodil out the front, and Narcissus, is it the smaller one? Kevin, hi, how you doing? The smaller one out the back. Because it has this front and back sort of scenario. It's like the North and South Pole, and it goes through the center of our being. So it does this sort of light show that goes round the cables, and it goes so fast it gives the impression that it's actually spinning. and it does spin it gives a sensation that it's spinning in a certain direction or spinning in another direction according to the chakras that we're looking at. And if we take the solar plexus, for example, it's like you have primary petals and secondary petals, and these secondary petals, when you fully charge your solar plexus, actually pull from the petals at the back and become the same size as the primary. So actually, it's you forcing that sort of energy, and it's very similar to what you could deem to be like throwing your chakras. It's very much along those sort of lines of how I perceive it when we're talking about chakras, of how you could actually use it. Now, it doesn't actually, if you imagine that cable of energy that's going around, that's doing those lights that gradually give that sensation of something turning, you're not actually throwing anything out of that, because that's not the way energy works. You can't actually give another person physical energy, and like you can't actually take away physical energy from someone else. That's the transfer of force, as it were. That's not how it works, because if it did work like that, and someone could take control of someone else's energy, before you know it, that person can actually take control of the universe. And the way it's set up, it's a safeguard in order to stop, one object, one person or one being or whatever, having complete and utter control. It's a little bit like the genie in the lamp metaphor. So it's if someone has complete and utter control over energy, they tend to live in a very small space and can't really do much, and they only actually sort of like provide wishes for other people. Do you know what? Sometimes I feel like a genie, but it's like that. Out of the Aladdin and the lamp, and then kind of go enormous, immense power, tiny little living space, sort of thing. And it's a little bit like that. So energy has these safeguards in place. So you can't actually physically give someone else energy. That's not how it sort of works. What you can do is you can encourage someone else's energy to take a certain form through harmonics and vibration, as it were. And our chakras, as they light up more, obviously, it's, if you imagine, they've got a tone that sort of goes beep, and as it lights up, because it becomes a lot louder, or the frequency changes slightly, which will then change the vibration within an aura. And that's when you can, like sonar between dolphins and whales and so forth, you can project that energy out into the universe or out into the world in a certain direction through that sort of aura connection, as it were. So you don't have, you can't really take control over somebody else's energy, but what you can do is influence it. And the most simplest form of seeing that you must have seen those videos of people who laugh on trains when somebody else is watching a video and they laugh, and no one knows what that person's looking at, they're just laughing, and it makes everybody else laugh, like yawning. It's a very similar sort of thing. It's got that same effect. So if you want to use your energies through your chakra system, it's a case of getting used to feeling that chakra sequencing, feeling your chakras in a certain way that you can then sort of almost cap the energy flowing through you, which will then build up that solar plexus. And once you can start building up that solar plexus, you can really push it out there. Like I'm doing at the moment, I can feel it. It's coming a lot more sort of within me of how I'm doing it. So if I just release that solar plexus, and then it all goes rushing up, I get a head rush. So, and then, then it comes back to the throat, so it's a lot easier to speak, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's the same sort of thing, that if you're trying to influence the world that is around you, even if it is not necessarily influence people, but you're trying to influence the world so you can create opportunities for you in the world. And those opportunities can come through manifestation, as it were. That's how you can sort of radiate that energy around you that you can attract to you, and we can say that, where you're bringing it in because you're creating that magnetic connection with reality. And we can use our chakras in any particular sort of way, of when it's sort of that sort of ilk, as it were. Shirley, how you doing? Lovely to see you. This is why I think the chakra sequencing is really important as well, because when you approach a situation, you use the chakras within the sequencing. So as it comes through you, you push one chakra in particular in order to build up a momentum to manifesting things. You all right? What would you like, my love? My daughter's just come in, and obviously she's disturbing my life. Can't believe it. What are you playing that? What are you saying? What are you after? Oh, right, okay. There you go. I think that's it. Just as well, Cody's on the bed, on his bed, sort of like chilling out. He went down the beach today, had a lovely time down the beach, and he's all tuckered out. Bless him. He's all tuckered out. Okay, night. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, mate. With the chakra sequencing, you can use that to emphasize something if it corresponds with what you're trying to manifest. And it's also knowing what time is the best, or what moment is the best time to use your heart, or use your throat, or use your solar plexus, and so forth. It's that. You can, when you get into a rhythm with the world that is around you, it's actually a lot easier to do things, But there is drawbacks on it. It will, it does stop. It will stop you from jumping to your illusion. So, like, if you want to do something and it is so massive that one of the needs of what you want to do is, I need $400 million in order to achieve this plan, then it will bring you back to that common sense. That's when you're in line with it. It will not allow that, because it's actually not productive collectively. So it sort of like stifles it in a way. If one of your chakras is not functioning properly, we're going to get onto that, Suli. Properly. What impact does it have on the flow of energy? Any symptoms? Yeah, there is. There is loads of that. This is part and parcel of what I was going to go into. Yeah, exactly. So if you imagine, like, you've got this Christmas tree that's gradually doing this circle of lights that gradually go up the Christmas tree, and as you look down that circle of lights, you can see it going around there like that. If you have a chakra that's, I would say, misfiring rather than anything else. People sort of talk about chakras being blocked, and so forth. But when it's misfiring, this is how I sort of saying, it's like you get one or two lights that don't light up. So every time it comes down, it goes blip, ding, blip, blip, and it's like you'll notice that it's not a smooth rhythm anymore. And this could be through a multitude of reasons, depending on which chakra we're dealing with. The heart one is the most obvious to, is where we get a lot of the blockages, because it's the most sensitive of chakras. Normally all the chakras, so let's just go through how many chakras we actually have. I talk about it a lot on all my readings and energy messages and so forth. We only actually have 5 chakras. Now, we say we have 7 chakras, which I can sort of vaguely understand. So you get your crown, that is, and then you get your root. So that's the front and the back of the chakra, as I was explaining earlier on. So that's the crown and the root is actually only one chakra for me. So that gets us down to 6. And then the other ones is the third eye and the throat chakra, which is like you get the front out of here and it goes bent over like that. So, that's where we get down to sort of 5 chakras. And the chakras that are concerned with us on a personal sort of level are the sacrum, the solar plexus, heart, throat, and third eye. They are what I would call horizontal chakras because they tend to sort of go out horizontally to our body in general. The heart chakra is, it's almost horizontal and vertical at the same time. That's why it's so particular, the heart chakra. And it is so prone to emotional disturbance, much more than most other chakras. And so you get like, if you imagine out the front of one chakra is like this flower, so it's like that. And out the back you get another chakra out, you get the back end of it. And if you imagine if the tube that goes between the front and the back end are actually between the two flowers like that, and they're actually pulled in together. So the tube between the up and the back, as you look at it like that, that goes like that between it, is not really, it's not very long at all. In fact, it's really, really short. And it looks more like a coquille de Saint-Jacques, what they call the flat, they've got a flat shell at the top and they've got a rounded one underneath, and it tends to be ridded. Like in the petrol company called Shell, their symbol for that. And it looks like that. So out the front, you've got this flower that's sort of like that out the front, but out the back, you've got the similar sort of thing, but it's a lot smaller. So it looks very much like the typical sort of shell emblem, really, like a playing card, like a spade. Very much like that. Looks very much like that. So, and with these individual petals, they tend to be the most flexible, and it's a bit like a sea anemone. So when it feels something, it can retract, and it can, it does all of this sort of business, retracting and opening up, and also sort of when it closes off, it's actually allowing people to get a lot closer to you, but they can't go any further than where those two fingers cross over. It's not good to open your chakra, your heart open like that. People who tend to live their life with their heart completely open tend to have a lot of pain in their life, and some of it they probably don't need to have. But this way here is if imagine these are two petals, it's like the chakra goes like that, and they sort of go over one another. And as I, and I could close it off like that, but I can allow you to come very close between these two petals, and then I can actually take that energy in, or that vibration that you're affecting my aura with. I can take it in like swallowing a bit of energy, so it brings it into the middle of your heart chakra. It sort of works like that in a way. So you taste love. That's what you do. If food be the if food be the language of love, what was that Shakespeare thing? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So let's say you do have an issue with your heart, and so you get let's just say divorce or anything like that. It will affect primarily the petals that are out the front, and over time that petal will then gradually move backwards like that, and that's how we filter it through our lives. That's how we gradually digest things over time, and it takes a lot of time for the heart, and that's where we get people say time heals. It does in a way, but what the problem is that you've now got a petal that doesn't function completely properly, as it were. And that's so it can cause an engagement, an emotional engagement that is lacking an aspect of It's like you're baking a cake and you're missing one ingredient, and that missing that one ingredient is going to change totally the outcome of the cake. And that's what a little bit like what sort of love is in a way. It's like if you're missing an ingredient, if there's part of your heart chakra that's not functioning as full as it should be, then there's some aspects within your relationship that you may not understand, you may not get, or you may just recoil away from because you've been hurt with like that before. So it can affect you on your daily basis of how we engage in life, and obviously that's going to affect how you actually resonate to attract good or things that you so wish into your life, and going forward. So it's something that can be fixed a lot via logic, because when we're dealing with these sort of chakras, certainly going from the throat down to the sacrum, there's a lot of emotions involved and a lot of memories that attach to that, that petal that's not functioning fully as it should be. And, if you apply a lot of logic to the situation, you have to be completely detached from the situation as well. And once you do, that's when you can make it pop back into place. A little bit like a dented, a dent on your car. You know how they do that? They put those suckers on there, and they pull them out, and it goes pop, and it pops out. So with someone experiencing feelings of love or hate, okay, we'll get onto that in 2 seconds, Suli. Yeah. Very interesting, love and hate, because it's the same thing. I know it sounds weird, but it's the same thing, but opposite to. It's like, what's it? It's like the name Hannah, for example. So Hannah, you can write it one way and you can turn it around and it still says Hannah the other way. And what's it called? A parallelogram or something? I forget what it's called now. There's a particular name for it. I never got up with Latin. Those Roman soldiers did a number on me, I tell you. But anyway, it's hate and love is very similar to that sort of thing. That's why love can obliterate hate, and hate can unfortunately obliterate love. And it gets very confusing at times, because some people do, incredibly mad things in the name of love. And you just kind of think, and a lot of other people are standing around kind of going, really? You did that? You lobbed their head off for love? You know what I mean? It's like, it's just all of it sort of like, it's a definition of love that I'm not sure what that is. And, so it's got every emotion has got a harmonics. So basically, if you imagine love, you need, it's like doing a cake. Take a little bit of the heart, take a little bit of the stomach, a little bit of the solar plexus, a little bit of the throat. These are the volumes you need. Add it all together, mix it up, and you're lovely. You got hate, similar sort of thing, but the mixture is just the opposite way. It's just, when you put the two together, love and hate, it makes one square block. But when you take them apart, it's like the yin and the yang. If you put them together, it makes this beautiful circle. But if you take the yin, it's not a circle anymore. It's not complete. And it's like that. And I think, it's, how does it affect the heart chakra? Well, the heart chakra, this is it. Okay, so when I was talking earlier on about the heart, about sort of projecting your energy through your chakras, the heart chakra is as close. It's like I would describe it like a disc of crystal, a crystal disc, and at the edge of that crystal disc, it is sharp as glass, and it can be enormously cutting, and so hate you can use it is used in a way that is very cutting through the people who do mad things tend to be very passionate and heartfelt about doing it, whether you agree with it or not. You know what I mean? That's what they probably, majority of the time, is what they're going to feel. And that's that heart chakra that's really going fine and becoming like a set of swords, like you get in the tarot reading. You know what I mean? So it's tied to a memory. So when you're looking at someone's chakras, and then you can go through the petals, and as you go through the petals, you see this, Christmas tree light bulb that's no longer working. But when you take that light bulb out, it's not that it's not working. It's just that the memory of not the pain, usually the painful memory, the trauma that's attached to it, is not making it work anymore. And when you take that bulb out, you can read that memory. And I do it, in my workshops many times. People have, because we end up working on one another on workshops and stuff like that. And it's reading a story, and you read what's happening or has happened within that person. And that's when you can find the tools in order to help that person to make that heart chakra just go pop and put back into place. And when it puts back into place, they experience life and love and stuff like that, and engaging emotions in a completely different way. It's really, really, really nice. So all boils down to common sense then. Yeah, it does boil down to common sense, totally. Spot on. I'm working on that, been closed off for many years, what the heart chakra coral. Because, it's like we say, once bitten, twice shy, sort of thing. But then that's what I mean about the common sense revolution as well. Once we start getting in line with it, the energy's not going to allow. Energy actually doesn't like extremes. Energy likes things when it tends to be consistent and functional or creative or destructive as much as creative. Destruction and creation are part and parcel of the same cycle. It's like you can't have one without the other. You can't have birth without death. And energy doesn't have an emotional input because it doesn't actually have a physical body. And to have an emotion, you have to have physical form in order to give it a body. So, well, cool. If it's been, it's obviously, it sounds similar to the sort of thing that, that I was talking about, that, when you have an issue, or you have an experience that is not very nice in regards to your heart and so forth, excuse me, just bring that up a little bit, heart and so forth, it's like, if you imagine that crystal disc, it's like someone just dropping a stone through your heart. And it can, people can, their days can be numbered because of heartbreak. And it does affect a lot of things within our lives. Even when you fall in love, when you fall in love, especially for blokes, they just stop eating, You got it, Debbie City. Excellent. Yeah, so, if you've it's going to be difficult to, because I don't think you should open up your heart. I think that's a really bad description of it, really. I think it's more of a case of, when I said the petals, like they cross over like that, so then you leave this space here, that space there where I'm putting my head, you're leaving that space there to allow people to, or others to come into your life so you can feel them and whether they're good for you and everything before you open up. And then as I say, as you swallow that energy, as you consume that vibration that other person's putting out, and if it tastes right for you, then that's when you can then sort of like, if you imagine your heart chakra and the other heart chakra of the other person, they combine and they feel each other, and that's all part and parcel of, of feeling at oneness with another person. But in order to do that, yeah, there's a lot of letting go. Tends to be a lot of letting go of the past, basically, more than anything else. With that, so you can use your chakra to project a lot of things. You can project it, and you can really focalize. This is where the third eye comes in. Is like you can, with your vision, you can focalize where you're orientating the energy that's coming from that chakra to that situation. So if that situation determines or demands or is asking for courage and determination and confidence, that's going to be your, you're going to be playing with it with your solar plexus. That's why you should be pushing it there. If it's much more sort of like creativity and sort of song and artistically, that's probably the heart's going to be playing in that a lot more with the emotions and so forth. Is true forgiveness able to open one's heart chakra? See, I've always said, Suli, that in order to forgive someone, you've got to judge them, and I don't think I want to ever judge anybody else because I'm having bad enough time judging myself. I think that's because you know exactly what you're doing. That's why I think it was Jesus who said, make sure your hands are clean. Is that right? Is that what he said? And that's the thing, because you're the only one who sees what you do with your own hands. So therefore, you can be the only judge of yourself. Forgiveness is really difficult because it's not like you can't actually forgive someone, but you can give them another chance, yeah, to prove that they've understood, why, what they did was maybe not so very good or not good for that relationship. And I think forgiveness is giving someone, little wave, how you doing? Welcome. I think forgiveness is being willing to give someone a second chance. It's like turning the other cheek, as it were. And if they've worked it out, then there's nothing left to forgive because it's never going to come back up on the surface. It's okay. It's cool. It's done. Dusted. So you don't have to actually forgive them. They just need to, maybe they need to grasp something more than anything else. So it can be quite difficult, This makes so much sense. This comes from Nikota. This makes so much sense. In gratitude for the confirmation, most certainly of letting go the last week in a dream form. Really, letting go of a lot of stuff. I think there's been a huge amounts of letting go. Certainly over the last 5 years. And I think that's all to do with that Pluto stuff that we go into quite a lot on the readings and so forth. But it's you can use your chakra energy in enormous amounts of sort of different ways, really, in which of understanding of life. And it's feeling it as well. And this is where you can get onto the physical sort of things. If you've got if your throat's not in the right space, you probably, you will have issues with your throat. And there is certain connections that we have between one of us and another generation, for example. So, for example, your children will attach to your solar plexus. And our parents will attach to our sacrum in a way, or we attach to our parents through our sacrum. So anything that's down in the sacral area is where if you get issues with that, it can sometimes mean, not all the time obviously, but it can sometimes mean difficulties between oneself and our parents, and so forth. Not all the time, because modern day life is not that. It's the family unit's not so strong as it was in the past, or not so important as it was in the past. And obviously, with technology and Wi-Fi and loads of other different things, we're getting lots of different sort of ailments because of technology and so forth. So, but it can affect, as I said, it can affect certainly on your heart and so forth. You can really, affect your physical health as well. And, it's like if your pineal gland's out, and you get too much calcification, the calcification in the body, if you get too much, you do go a little bit off off your trolley. So because you don't see life in the same way. So yeah, I think unblocking someone's chakras, I think unblocking your chakra is really important. Now, I did say, because I think it was Margaret who asked about, she said she wasn't feeling anything in her heart chakra anymore for 2 years or something like that. I don't know if she's about, but, I was going to say that we would look at her heart chakra about that and see what's going on there, But as I say, sometimes it can get a bit personal, so I try and sort of navigate that when we're doing something live on YouTube. But if anyone's got something that needs looking at, I'll be more than welcome to look at it. The other thing as well is the crown chakra. The crown chakras for mental health is really, when it's like it's like an inverted traffic cone. It's like, rather than putting the cone there so it goes to a point like that, it's sort of like having the, it goes like that, sort of thing. Almost the best position of it is like a 45-degree angle. I've got my microphone here, so I'll do it like that. So microphone, so it's a 45-degree angle, sort of like that. Now, you get different shapes. Often people who have major connections to Egyptians past tend to have a crown chakra that does that sort of vase sort of shape, that you can see in Egyptians. I remember doing it. I was doing a festival, giving talks at a festival, and we were playing around with chakras, and I was talking about this very subject because I was looking at someone's crown chakra, and I'd picked on this person because their crown chakra had that Egyptian form of it, and it turns out she was like an Egyptologist. It was really mad. But yeah, and it's so. You can also get, so if you get the 45-degree and it's sort of like drooping down, it's like you're leaking your consciousness, and your consciousness, because it's like heavy water, with a nuclear fusion, it's like heavy water. If you allow that consciousness to fall out, it makes life incredibly heavy. So you take life on as being very heavy. It makes you feel like depressed in a way. Okay, so Nagota, you want us to have a look at your heart chakra, okay? Rather than your heart. Are you asking for your heart chakra, not your heart, or your physical heart? Is that right? That's because that's what I thought we were going to be doing, but we can always look at your heart. It's not a problem. Yeah, and the crown chakra, it keeps in this like disc, which can get incredibly complex, like a labyrinth. And the more complex it is, it's the more consciousness you gather, and you get to a point that it gets so like a Celtic knot. It gets so intricate that eventually there's like this inward pipe, there's this inward let of the energy, and there's an outward let. So basically it gives us a little bit of flexibility within our chakras in order to or it gives us a bit of flexibility in this sort of thing to give us a bit of slack so we can pull on that and it sort of like, go a little bit further. Okay, so you want us to look at the heart chakra. Okay, so Nikita, if you just sit down, relax, and just take it easy, just breathe gently. There's a bit of a time delay. Okay, so what we're going to do is just going to go through each petal. Right, okay, just to give you a general form of your chakra. So if you, as I said, like let me just pull that microphone in. The chakras are like one petal's on top of the other. I've got to pull that microphone out, it's annoying me. There you go. One chakra in front of the other, and it's like that, and it's normally just sort of like gently overlapping like that, but you've got this swelling inside, and it would suggest that first things first, straight off the bat, it's like you're holding back on something that your heart, you'd really love to do, but you're holding back on it and not allowing it to exist for some reason or another. Could be a way of life, could be could be a declaration of love and so forth. But it's, I would have thought it's much more on a way of life of just holding back on something. Okay, so let's just go on that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each petal here and see if everything's fine. Okay, there seems to be one petal that's sort of retracted more than the others, which is like gives us an idea that it's not. There's one petal that's not working correctly, as it were, and it's on the left-hand side. And I would say it's once we get into there. It's either someone did you wrong to do with finances or a job or a house or something. It feels a little bit like that. It feels a little bit like that someone did the dirty on you, I guess, and you know what I mean, sort of thing. That's what it feels like, and it's almost as if like you want the opposite. You don't want to be, you so much don't want to be like that person that you want to do the opposite. And in a way, it's like forcing you to, it's pushing you into another extreme to the opposite of that. If I'm getting that right for you, Nikita. I've been calling you Nikita, haven't I? Nikita. Is that right? Is that resonating with you? I think the main thing that's holding it back is this swelling of a desire to do something, but it's not. It's not manifesting as you thought it'd been manifesting, or there's some sort of thing holding you back on that. Cool. I want to hear more about. But I've got to run appointments. That'll be the solar plexus. Coral. Enjoy, Coral. Lovely to see you. Thanking you very much for being here. Would it be right to ask if you do the same for me? I hope okay to ask. Yeah, sure, it's okay to ask. It's no worries. You want the heart chakra as well to be looked at. Did you get any of that? Oh, right, here we go. Yes, my brother stole a lot of money. Yes. Okay, so that's that petal there that's not working. So that needs to pop. So, I've gone through very similar sort of situations. I'll come on to you in a moment, little wave. Yes to working. What's the working side of it? what's this? What's this? What's this swelling as well? Because it's almost as if that petal is, because that petal is not popped out. It's very, it's like you can't get that thing out of you, and it's almost like you, like a lot of us, maybe you have a problem with the idea of actually, you know, money's got a dirty feel to it now, and I can understand that. I've got a very similar sort of approach to it, really, in a way. But it's, and this is where we come into the whole sort of thing that Suli was talking about for forgiveness and stuff like that. Um, I don't think you can. I don't. This is where it'd be very difficult, maybe, to forgive your brother. You may say that I forgive my brother, but if he hasn't changed and he does it again, at what point do you kind of go, well, no, I don't want to get involved with that sort of thing. And I think it's if the person hasn't understood, and in my case it was a little bit of that case because that person was still doing those similar sort of things that you know that 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 I was a bit sort of aggrieved by, and in a way it's just like kind of going, well, I played my part in trying to help you to understand something, and as you didn't want to, then it's uh, it's that's now your problem and no longer mine, and that's how I managed to get over it. Ozzy, how you doing? I'm so glad you made it onto the live tonight. Fantastic about the 3 week thing. Absolutely brilliant. Fair play to you. Well done. Really, really, really chuffed for you. I've been keeping an eye out, making every now and then seeing the comment and that, making sure just happy for you. Really happy for you, Ozzy. Really good. I think it's gonna open up so much for you because you've done this, which you know what we're talking about. So yes to working. Yeah, so it's energy, work, and healing. Okay, so that's that swelling of the heart possibly for you, Nikota, and it's that's all right. No worries, Ozzy man. It's just so I'm just chuffed. I'm really chuffed for you. It's really good, top man, top draw, top draw. Um, that swelling of the heart is the. Um, I'm glad you're happy. You should be. You should be proud as well. You know what I mean? You should be proud as well. It just means that you just think about it. You can do anything really. If once you can do anything now. You know. Getting back to you, Nikota. That swelling of the heart is one of the biggest things that I found over the years of helping and training people to, to express the world through healing and so forth. One of the biggest blocks that I found most people had is that they try and save everyone, and it's very dangerous for you because you get emotionally involved in the situation, and that is a real no-no because you'll end up wanting to do things because it's within your, if I was doing, when I'm doing a healing on someone, sometimes I'll have, I will say to someone, I'm not going to do that because I don't, I'd like to, but it wouldn't be good for you. It's not, or it's not, uh, energy is not encouraging that at the moment. It's like, someone sort of says, someone says, I want to give up smoking, and they really don't want to give up smoking. They probably do themselves a lot more harm trying to stop than if they continue. That sort of thing. And I think here is like sometimes we've got such a great desire to help everyone and save everyone, yeah, so, save people but don't. It's like I say to people exactly that in a way. I was it's a sort of saying, I say to people that, you can't save the world. I can't save the world, but we can. And in order for that we to exist, you have to exist fully within your life. And therefore, in order for you to live fully within your life, you have to also concentrate on your life, which will then allow you the time to give to other people so you can concentrate on helping other people. But, call me a hero without a cape. Okay, save everyone, call me a hero without a cape. I just want the underpants. That's what all I want. I want the Lycra underpants. I don't know what you call them in America because we call them pants, and obviously that's not, um, uh, boxer shorts or shorts or whatever it is. I don't know what you call it in America, but we call undergarments pants, whereas you call them trousers. We call them trousers and you call trousers pants. Anyway, it seems that way there, Nikota, that sometimes we just try too hard. And I think energies in a way is sort of like, is almost sort of saying, Nakota, it's like you you need to be in a good place where you're not being affected by the people that you're engaging, because it's sometimes really quite hard healing. It really is. It's emotionally incredible, as much as it can be, really painful moments, as much as joyous moments, and you often have people that are going through certain extremes of emotions that are in front of you, and you can't fall into that empathy factor. Can I just say, not save the person, only allow them to feel the experience? Okay, this is good. Go through the process. Go through their process. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense. It does make sense. I think that's it's not. I think that's, in a way, in Nakota, I think there's also this thing with your brother. I don't think it's really affecting you, but I think it's like, it's when I started doing it, and I did it for the first 15 years, everything was on donation, because I didn't like the idea of money, and money is not energy, it's not an exchange and stuff like that. It's really insulting to energy to say money's like energy. It's where I find that really insulting, and it may be getting over that. Yeah, you're in that place, and the only exchange we have is that you cross my hands cross my palm with silver, and maybe that's also playing into it a little bit, of kind of going, how do I present myself? How much do I charge? And how much, do you know what I mean? What's the process that you need to go through in order to sort of like start providing that service to other people? Maybe that's sort of like swelling up as well. That's sort of like holding it back a little bit. Let me just have a quick look on that. Just want to have a look on the other side, because it was mainly on the left that it was working, which all tends to do with administration and stuff like that. I do things for people because I want to, not because I have to. Yeah, okay. If you feel you have to, it goes pear-shaped. Yeah, totally agree with that. You got to be in the right space. I've, I mean, I should, do long hours and sort of like, yes, donation. I get that. Got told off by my nan in spirit. Did you really? Okay. Well, I have moved on to a fixed rate, which I've been doing now for the last 5 years. Am I happy with it? I prefer a world without money personally, but it's not me who sort of like created it. But yeah, I would go along with your once you, if you put that out there to people that are around you, it's on donation. And the thing is, when you do donation, and this is really key, okay, when everybody's doing this, if you do donation, what you do is you close your eyes and you put your hand out, and you allow them to put that donation in your hand. You then close it off, you put it in your pocket, and then when you've put it in your pocket, you take your eye, you can open your eyes. Okay? Now I tend to, when I used to work like full on, that was my main daytime job, as it were, I should do like 10 in the morning through to 8 at night, 10 hours non-stop. So I should see quite a few people, and I should do that, and gradually by the end of the day, you'd take out what you've got in your pocket, and you kind of go, okay, I earned that, so that on an average, that's what I got per person, and it all seemed to work out right. I think it was a really good way, and I really enjoy doing it like that. Thanks for your time. Very good live so far. Excellent. You have to go. Yeah. Okay, Silly. Joy to you, and etc. Hope everything's going out. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing, the donation thing, because what it does, it puts the onus on the other person who's actually giving you to really reflect about what they're doing. And the more that someone could be conscious about what they're doing, it becomes a lot easier for the healing side of things, or it becomes a lot easier, and so forth. So yeah, I totally get that. I would get over that whole sort of side of things, and just actually sort of like allow it to sort of happen, as it were. Little Wave, are you still there, Little Wave? I just wanted to make sure if you were there, we're going to have a look at it. I don't want to start looking at it if you're not there, because I will need a little bit of feedback as we go through, as you will see. Is there anything else, Nikota, that can we pop it out? Is that what you're saying? Okay, well, let's just pull that out there then. It will give you, what it will do is it will give you, because I'll tell you, so then so then when it starts happening, it will give you a different engagement of your professional life, resolving that issue with your bro. Okay, Little Wave, cool, excellent. I'll be there in 2 seconds. Yeah, that does make the heart less swelling and a lot more sort of like, allowing it to just happen. So I would get out there and start telling people, and sort of like, sort of saying, yeah, I do that on donation. There is obviously a bit of networking that you've got to do. Get out there and get involved, get in part in your community and so forth. So it's all to do, so this is for Little Wave. It's to do with your heart chakra. Anything in particular that's sort of going on for you? What's going on and that sort of fun? Let's just have a look. If you just sort of relax. Generally, is that what you're going to say about the heart chakra? You want it generally looked into? Because it does seem a little bit generally also of what is going on with the heart chakra. The petals appear to be like a clam, and then it's got the sort of like the frilly bits of the clam, or an oyster, and when you touch it, it retracts and stuff like that. It's okay. So this is it. Are you really hypersensitive heart way? Is that what it is? Are you really hypersensitive emotionally with the world around you? Is that what sort of is that how is that where you feel it first and everything like that? Because it seems like it's working on overdrive. It seems like it's highly sensitive. Just feels numb, trying to heal for years. Okay, well, that's the downside of it. Where it's super highly sensitive, it's like you're listening to everything at the same volume all the time. So therefore, you've got no more distinction between one thing and another. I don't think it's a case of being numb. I just think it's being so over solicited in a way without you even realizing it. That it just feels that um, if it's still right. Let me put it like this: if it's still, you will notice when you throw a stone in that mill pond. Those ripples will go out, and you will feel it across the entire lake. But because you've got this constant ripples, if you imagine like a rippling lake, if it's quite windy and so forth, and you throw a stone in it, you probably won't see the ripples. And that's what I mean, is where it's sort of like, it's that sort of feeling of it, even in my back, like a wind. Good, excellent. Yeah, I'm going to blow that petal back out. Just going to make it go pop. And you will notice over the next few days, Nikota, sorry about this little wave. We'll get it's you will notice that you engage in the world in a different way. You don't um, yeah, you engage in the world in a different way. I'm not going to preempt it. I'd like to you can tell us in future lives how it got on. So does it feel like this is for Little Wave? Does it feel like it's difficult to know where your heart? This is what you mean by being numb. Is it difficult to give you a direction of your heart, of your heart's desires and so forth? Because I can definitely feel that that's what it is within. It's not defined enough, and it's almost as if like um, it's very similar to someone who's just constantly giving and constantly giving and not receiving. And it's almost as if like it's a little bit frazzled because of that. And it's giving this notion that the edge of the petals are like a little bit sort of, a little bit sort of like up and down and a bit sort of. So I think what we need to do here for you, Little Wave, is where. So I explained earlier on. You probably weren't there. So it goes out like a loop there, like that, like one petal, as I said, and it goes back, goes through you, goes through your heart, comes out the backside. Not your backside, but the back of your heart, and then does another loop, then comes out and does another loop, and it's a continual looping around all the way around, and Dakota, it's a continual looping around, and it's the attachment to that vertical energy that goes between the root and the crown chakra, the staff of Tot, if you like. The crossing point doesn't seem to be tight enough. So what we need to do is we need to tighten that up a bit. So it's like having loose strings on a tennis racket. So we need to pull those strings so they become tight, and we're tuning the guitar. Basically, that's what we're doing for you, and I think that's where you will get a sense of how the best way to describe it. It's like a sense of yin yang to a situation. So you'll either like something or you don't like it, and it will give you a much more sort of define and for your heart, defined feeling for your heart. I'll get out there in a minute. Okay, so let's just find the crossing point between the things. So it makes like equivalent of this, like a it's not a hexagon because obviously it's a lot more sides to it, but it makes this sort of like polylonogram, whatever it is, shape where it's got lots of sides to it. So what we need to do there is within your heart chakra there, let's just get in there and just, that's all right, no worries, my love. You know, you just need to pull them in a little bit and that should tighten it up. So as it tightens it up, let's just put it in there. Just need to fix all those points there. That's all right. There you go. And the next one. Next one. Okay, and that's them tightened up. What you might also feel is you get a heightened sensation within your crown and your root, bizarrely enough, with that little wave, because what it's going to do is it's going to make that vertical energy a little bit more tighter. So it should also help you enormously on that pathway of kind of going, you know, because in life, as I was trying to explain in the message from energy the other day, that there's fate and then there's free will, and they live side by side in harmony in theory. And what you're doing is you're pulling it through. So those sort of harmonies, once they work in harmony with one another, you end up following a pathway which is the evident path, which I call the evident path. And that evident path, because you know, there's no real choices. You know, you look at life and you're just kind of going, yeah, it's just evident that I should be doing that. You know, I shouldn't be doing anything else. I should be doing that. You know, I've got no choice in the matter. And it doesn't necessarily mean that that's an easy path or anything like that. And I think you'll find it's a lot easier for you to kind of go, that's what I should be doing. I should be following that. And it's going to make it a lot easier for you. I'm pulling my mic in because it's tying me on the throat, as it were. So yeah, so you know, now we look at the edge of the chakra, so the petals that's coming out, and there we go. We've got much more of a defined shape to it. It's like anything. It's like a muscle in a way that needs engagement in life in order for it to set definitively, or at least for the time being. And you know, chakras, they breathe, they move, they're constantly moving. You know, they're never in one shape, and that's it. They don't move like that. You know, they're constantly moving because according to the emotions that we're dealing with in life, or the engagements that we're dealing with in life. That's all right, little wave. Yes, I didn't see that earlier on. Yes, but a heart was broken. Was it really? Was it broken by a person? Was it? Let's have a look on that then. Was that some time ago though? Was it some time ago? Maybe 4 years ago? Something like that? Just waiting to sort of see from that, because I didn't see that. You know, was it sort of 3-4 years ago? Or was it longer than that? It seems like it's sort of like you're getting to a stage. There is a point where the petals, as it gradually works its way to the back, and then it will flip really to the back, and it will then be used as experience, as it were. And it seems like it's really coming close to the back. So, and just sort of like getting it now. You're still finding it difficult to get over that person. still have a lot of sentiment, I think, possibly for that person. And that person, by the looks of it, just didn't understand something, and it was a real shame. Left in 2021, so it was, well, like 5 years ago then, so it was a little bit longer. And the explanation didn't seem to stack up. It didn't. It was difficult to get closure on it. That's possibly what broke it as well. Well, yeah, which you lost all your elasticity in it, and can you fall in love with someone else? That's the other question that you want to see. Yeah, of course you can. And love is just like someone who corresponds to your vibration. And once you're open to that, it's actually a lot easier to enjoy the moment, to enjoy sharing a moment with another person. And when we share those moments, we build those memories which we perceive as love between one and another person. And the more that we can open, or we not open, but allow our hearts to sing, the more we can find moments where we engage with people around us that we fall in love with. Very hard to get closure. I'm just going to have a look at something else on you and see what's going on there. See whether you can get closure on it. Do you still speak to this person and so forth? Do you still speak to this person? Because there's still a lot of triggers, like automatic triggers, that it's like when you do something, you turn around and they're not there, sort of thing. You know what I mean? It seems a bit of that as well. And I think that whole sort of tightening of your heart chakra as well, I mean, getting it into tune with yourself, it will allow you to start by enjoying living life, in loving life, loving your life. And that's what loving yourself is all about. And once you do that, that's when I think you're going to find it very easy to fall in love with another person who has a similar sort of vibrational outlook as yourself. No, don't speak anymore. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. But there is these automatisms that, where you do things automatically. You do things automatically because of what, what you went through during the relationship, not the afterwards, but during it. It's. I think he also scares me. Well, that probably helps to get closure. So, I would walk away, because they seem to have had control, or seem to have affected your vertical, your raison d'etre. So that seems to be changing now. I think you're going to be a lot more sort of independent in a way, and going after, what you perceive to be loving life. And when you do that, you will be in presence of other people who actually feel the same way about life. And that's when you're going, you can really do it. Let your heart be in the present and not the past or the future. Yeah, exactly. Live in the present. Let your heart live in the present. Yeah, or live your heart in the present. Yeah, totally get that. Yeah, it's a moment of feeling. That's why it's not always there, because obviously, it's punctual, the heart, in a very beautiful way, like a firework. So there you go, little way. That was you, Ozzy. It wasn't you, sort of thing. Yeah, but yeah, live your heart in the present, and live now, live now. That's where it's happening. The now, the present, is the double slots within the quantum mechanic. So, your dreams and aspiration is where the wall of where all the particles hit, yeah, and your experience is where the particles are coming from, are being shot. The particles are being shot out. Have been working hard on letting go, taking all the advice. Yes, he was very critical, brutal, controlling, unmoving. Yes, working on loving life. Unloving? Working unloving on loving life. Trying to live in the present, easier said than done. Thanks so much. Yeah. Yeah, but you can't live in the present. It's very difficult to live in the present perpetually all the time, because there is these moments where you're preparing to do something, and you're going to think about the past. So you're not, although you're in the present, you're not really in the present. Your mind's elsewhere. But when you're doing something, that's when it really comes to the fore, as it were. But yeah, it's the heart does live though in the present. Is in that moment of contact with another person and sharing an experience with another person. That's what I think. Well, for me, that's what love's all about. Really, and maybe that's once you start to sort of like. You tighten up and get that control back of you following your pathway. Don't worry about anybody else. Following your pathway, then you'll realise that there will be people alongside your pathway. And that's when you can decide whether to engage or not. And the rest, you got to just play in the present, as Ozzy was saying earlier on. So heart is now, mind is heart. What? Heart is now, mind is past or future. What? Heart is now, mind is past or future. Okay, yeah, okay, get it. God blimey, sorry, Ozzy. Do apologise. Can't on my I forgot how to read then for a second. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it is sort of like, well, the mind is like it's like the computer that sort of like takes in the information and converts it into things that we can understand. And so yes, it is to do with the past and the future. But that's also drawing a lot of that information is coming from various other parts of the body and so forth. That's all right. No worries. No worries. It's, you know what I mean? I'm incredibly dyslexic, I think. Incredibly bad at doing that sort of thing. So, there you go. I was going to, unfortunately we didn't get Margaret on here, who was talking about that, I think, in one of the weekly readings. Yes, I'm going to say exactly. Computer. Yeah, totally. It computes. That's what it does. So, yes, thanking everybody for being here, as per usual. Nikota, Coral, Suli, Janet, lovely to see you. Kevin, lovely to see you as well. Suli, lovely to see you. Little Wave, of course. Ozzy, absolutely fantastic. So glad you sort of made it. Can I ask? You what? Hang on a sec. It's me. I'm having this breakdown of reading again. Can I ask you? Would you know? Thanking you very much, Little Wave. Thanking you. Would you? Hang on a second. So, can I ask you? Would you know what it would mean if 3 drops of water in your crown, no rain, it was, hang on a second, it just moved. It was felt. Would you know what it means? I'm not sure if I understand. Hang on a second, let me try and get my head around that. Can I ask you, you know what it means? If 3 drops of water drop into your crown with no rain, okay, so it felt, no rain, it was felt. Would you know what it means? So you felt like you got 3 droplets onto the top of your head. I think it needed a lot more context about it. Julie, how you doing? Did I put out the wrong time for this live? I might have done. Is it possible? Okay, so I'm not sure. It can mean a multitude of different things, I guess, Nikota. But it seems like it's also about what you were living in the time. Where were you? What were you thinking? There's a lot of other things that need to sort of like correlate with it, I think, more than anything else. Kevin, thanking you very much. You're an absolute star. No worries, Ozzy. Absolutely brilliant. Dragon, you're asking a question. Is it possible my mind has a lock on it? I want to know where the damn key is. Okay, so you think your mind's it's got a lock on, stopping you having access to a certain part of your mind? Is that what you're saying, Dragon? Pleasure, Little Wave. Is that what you're saying? Is the lock on your mind not allowing you to access certain parts of your brain? Ivy, how you doing? Did I really put the wrong time out for this? Did I put this out for a later time? Did I advertise it as that? I can't remember. Did I say it was going on later on? Oh look, I've just gone and lost all the things. A second. I can't see your comments anymore. I'm just gonna just bringing it up now. Sorry, I do apologise. Potential. What are you trying to achieve, Dragon? What are you trying to achieve with your mind? Because it could be that it's yeah, I want to unlock my true potential. So it said 10. It did say 10. I think it did, Julie. What you trying? What? 22 hours GMT. Yeah, I did do. I thought I did do it at that time. Sorry. Yeah. What's this? What you trying to unlock? What do you wish to achieve through your mind? Because maybe you're asking the wrong place. Something moving. So you want telekinesis? Yeah. You must have. Have you experienced telekinesis sort of thing? Have you experienced that? I've had many experiences of it. Oh, he's flying to America. Is your youngest flying to America? Well, that's good. It's good, Julie. It's always good to have a quiet night. I tell you, a lot of people said today, Sunday, just wanted a quiet day today. And then the sun kicked off, you know. So, telekinesis. Well, I'm not sure it's the mind. That's why I think that maybe you're looking in the wrong place. Okay, so no, so that's not it. What does something moving mean? What's that all about, Dragon? So it's not about telekinesis, it's about something else, is it? What's it about? What is the something moving about? Because telekinesis, I can't even get the word out at the moment. Getting a little bit too late, possibly, but being telekinesis is all about frequency, all about so Wi-Fi. I used to have real problems with Wi-Fi. It used to affect me physically, and really was not happy. It was not good. Shake the world to a new place. Blimey, what, the whole world? Everybody involved? So is it you're trying to shake your world to a new place? I talked about it on the Message from Energy last week about the idea of, so basically, if you imagine your environment is fate, and your free will is how you use that environment in order to create what you so wish out of life. And yeah, big dreams. I know. I've been down that rabbit hole a long time ago and gave up, because everything is in the right place at the right time, because time is not linear, it's spherical. And I've always said it's spherical, and now scientists are trying to explain that time is spherical. And it's kind of like, yeah, tell me something I don't know. It sounds like you're trying to do something before it's time, before everything's ready. It's like making a cup of tea without boiling the water. That ain't going to work, is it? It's just not going to work. The tea does not infuse in the same way. And it's all to do with timing here. And I think it's something I bang on loads about, about timing, sensing that moment, knowing that things come round again in life at a particular time. And, using that window of opportunity where time, place, and spirit or desire are all in line with one another, because that's all to do with the trilogy as well. The trilogy of things are really important, and when you can get those trilogy together, that's when you can then change the trajectory, and then things do change over time. You got to be, if you want to change the world, man, you got to be very, very patient, incredibly patient, Dragon. Don't be in a rush. Basically, do not be in a rush. If I was you, I think you'll find it incredibly frustrating. But it seems like you're laughing a lot, which is great. So that means, you've got a very, if you're laughing about it, it's bizarrely, you've got more chance of doing it, So it's all about spherical and all about sort of, all about, the trilogy. It's like should, could, and would is also another trilogy, which is really important as well. And once you understand the should, could, and would, which I've got to do a video on, what do you do in the meantime? Yeah, what do you do in the meantime? It's like waiting for a bus, isn't it? You know what I mean? Then three of them turn up at the same time. What do you do in the meantime? There's loads of other stuff to there's loads of other stuff to explore and experiment with. And yeah, there's loads of other things to experiment with. And it's the more you experiment with life, or the more you engage in life, in the way of, say, like for me personally, over the past, I've moved back to the UK because I wanted to tie up loose ends in relationship wise, in regards to certain members of my family, to reconnect with them while we still could, and stuff like that. And it's been, to be honest, it's been an absolute success. And it's taken me 6 months to get there. I thought it was actually going to take a lot longer to get there, but it's only taken 6 months to get there. And but that's not the goal why I'm over here. That's something that I'm doing in the meantime. So I think a lot of those, what you do in the meantime is actually forcing that issue of changing my world into a new reality gradually, by doing all the other little things that go along with it. This is why I'm a big fan of the Hierophant. The Hierophant's all about those stairs that go to that dream, the ultimate dream, and it's going from one step to another. You can't just jump from the beginning right to the star, as it were. So I think, what do you do in the meantime? There's whatever floats your boat, whatever tickles your fancy, whatever you enjoy. You all right, Cody? You okay, mate? Yeah, I know. You can go in there. Go on your beds. Go on your beds. Go on up there. Go on your beds. Yeah. Sorry, dog's just getting up and about. Yeah, I would explore a lot of things. Start learning to see energy, or start a bit of telekinesium. Telekinesium. Is that a word, or have I just invented it? I'm constant, sometimes it's all Latin, isn't it, at the end of the day? And as I said earlier on, I didn't really, I've got issues with the Romans. Lovely people, but they take life a little bit too seriously. That's all right, Dragon. Don't try too hard, first things first. And understand, don't forget, you can only go as fast as the slowest person, in a way, in this world at the moment. So this is why the world is, our realities are splitting. And just the more you build towards your future, the more that you will get drawn into one of those two worlds. And I think that's the best way to do it, Dragon. It's, life should be fun. Life should be fun, so please do enjoy it. That's going to be the sort of thing. I'm going to have it LSF PDE. That's going to be my thing. So yeah, can be very frustrating, but I don't think it's your mind. Also, at the same time, I don't think energy, because energy is actually being drawn into the center of the planet as it goes to the inversion thing. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be, we can't do levitation like we used to be able to do, because the energy's not there. So, have you looked at the sun today? I know. Well, I was talking about that earlier on, Kate Perry. Yeah. What I said in the weekly readings, the week just gone, all the weekly readings, I said, look, it's going to be happening Wednesday and Thursday, and that's when the energy is going to start coming through from all those eruptions on the sun, and it's going to change the vibration again, like it did last week, and it's all to do with those dry runs that I was talking about at the beginning of tonight. I was talking about that, and it seems to be game of two halves constantly. And those vibrations, that sun has really, really kicked off. Let me just have a look at it now, because it was constantly within the M range for the past 14 hours, pretty much, non-stop in M flare range, which we haven't seen for a long time. I don't think I've seen that for, let me just, I'll bring it up for you. Let me just sort of, I'll bring it up just because I obviously, Let me just no, oh no, so there it is. I'm just sorting out my let me just sort it out so I can show you what's been going on with the sun. You'll have an understand what I'm talking about. You know, if you haven't had a look at what's going on with the vibration, you should do, because you can see what's coming down the line for you. Hang on a second. There it is. That okay. So that's what's been going on with the sun at the moment. You can see that X-ray flux there, and if I just put it down to 3 days, you can just look at it, and it's been sitting in that. Let's just put it down to 1 day, like that. Is that actually? You can't really see it anymore. Why has it gone like that? Oh no, here we go. There we go. It's back to that. Okay, so look, that's been over the last day. So since 10 o'clock this morning, really, it's been sitting up in that M flare range literally all day long. And that vibration is coming through from, there's the sun there. That vibration's been coming through from this, can you see that actually? Yeah, you can do. Let me just go back. I'm waiting for it to load. It's been coming from a sunspot that's just up at the top left of the sun, and it's pretty much facing Earth. And it's been racking and racking and racking. It's the first break from the normal homogeneous energy that we've had over the past 4 or 5 days off the sun, and that's the prana energy that's really been coming through. It doesn't seem to want to load because I don't want the Lasco one. Let's just see if we can get it on. No, it's decided to no. Oh no. Yeah, it's not coming back through, unfortunately. Let me just see if I can bring it up on another. Yeah, it's not coming up. You know, unfortunately. But yeah, it's, you know, yeah, totally like that. Kate Perry. You know, yeah, I've seen the sun. She seems a bit perturbed. Yeah. Yeah. It's, everyone calls it like a male sort of thing. It's all right. It's all right, Katie. Yeah, no, it's all right. Join late. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the. Catching up on the comments. It's all right. No worries. Hello there, beautiful souls. Hello, Crystal. How you doing? Lovely to see you. Welcome. Sun was pulsating today. Extra light. Yeah, loads of it. Guess what I meant? Guess I was meant to see this. Yeah, Stacey. Guess you were. Totally. Am I off, or am I feeling she is ramping up for more? Yeah, no. Yeah and no. It's very possible that she could be, or you know, that it could, you know, the sun could be ready to sort of do another eruption in the next sort of like few days in our direction. But generally, coming forward, going forward over the next 6 months to, I think we're pretty much seeing the end of solar flares. Over the, you know, within 2 months, I don't, you know, 2 or 3 months, I don't think we'll be actually seeing anything in the way of solar flares anymore. So no, I don't think we've got a Carrington event, possibly not this solar. Personally, I don't think it's this solar cycle. I think it's solar cycle 26. So basically in 5 to 6 years time, 5 years time, basically, I think that's when a Carrington event could happen. But yeah, she's I don't think it's ramping up. What this is, because it's less and less energy at the moment, and even the sun's getting less and less energy at the moment. And what it's doing is, I look at it like this: is imagine you're doing a sauce, you're cooking a sauce, and you're reducing that sauce. So what you're doing is you're taking out a lot of the water and stuff like that. And it's the same thing with energy. It's sort of like taking a lot of stuff out of it. So it's making it it all of a sudden becomes a lot more salty. All the flavors really come out because we are reducing it. And that's what it feels like. That's what's happening with energy. So it becomes, when we taste that sauce, it becomes really intense. But it's actually a lot less energy in a way. So is she going to be ramping up? I don't think the thing is, this is it. In the future, she doesn't need to do a massive solar flare in order to create the Carrington event, which Ozzy was saying. I think because the magnetic field of the Earth, we've lost 50% of the magnetic field of the Earth over the last 150 years, and it's the speed in which we're losing it is increasing all the time. And the less magnetic field, the more it allows in, so we don't need a massive eruption on the sun to do massive changes on the Earth. Do we absorb her energy at this time or not? Or is it good or bad or both? Well, primarily, yes, we do feel it. Whether it's good or bad is your own personal interpretation. Energy doesn't see the world in good and bad, doesn't have an emotional skin in the game, as it were. Energy doesn't work like that. It doesn't see bad and good. Doesn't exist for energy. But what it mainly is doing is obviously it's changing the vibration of the Earth, which we are dependent upon. So we're 100% dependent upon the energy of the Earth, and we feel the energy or the changing energy from the sun through the changing energy of the Earth. And do we absorb it? It's running through us. We don't absorb it because that means we would retain it. We're just it's just flowing through us, and that obviously, if you imagine if you've got water flowing through you, and then someone puts in, say, like a coloured dye, then obviously your water is going to change to that coloured dye. So it's like it's that whole sort of thing that I was saying a little bit earlier on about sort of fate and destiny against free will. That is your environment. That's what the energy is coming through. So we don't actually sort of absorb it, but it's more of a case of it's flowing through us. I'm receptive of light codes, yin and yang. I'm understanding. Okay, so it's just like the information that comes down. What you're talking about is like an information that comes down like a fiber optic cable, in a way. And yeah, that's what the energy that's coming through it is, and feeling that energy on a permanent basis on every sort of day, I think is really important. Flowing through me. Aha. I do understand that better. Yeah, so it's flowing through you. So you can't retain it. You can't hold on to it because it would blow you up. You would explode like a can of Spam on a fire, sort of thing. So yeah, you just flow it through it. And as it flows through you, what we can do is we can use that current to almost direct us a lot easier to where we should be going. And it's directing it rather than fighting against it or using it. And, you know, it's very much like sort of like steering that canoe as the river generally takes us down. The water takes us down the river. It's got that flow in the river that, you know, is good, it's perpetual. And we can allow, and we can flow with that river, but then we can also, we don't have to paddle hard. We don't have to try, really. We can just flow, let that energy flow through, and you can just redirect it. It's a very much like a Tai Chi sort of aspect of martial arts, where you use the energy of the other person against themselves and that sort of thing. So it's flowing through you, sort of thing. Chrissy, where you been? You've had a sleep in, have you? Blimey. Got to live spam. Got to live spam. Spam, 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 spam. Yeah. I love the sun. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, I love it as well. But I'm totally cool with her energy, not blowing me up. Yeah. Learn the path of the flow. Ride the flow. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's you know, it's yeah, that's we've constantly got this energy flowing through us. It's like a light bulb, an electricity light bulb. It's got that energy that flows through the light bulb and then goes out the other side. It doesn't stop. It creates light as it goes through, but it doesn't. The energy doesn't stop. That's why you have a return cable to the plug. You know, so it's a constant flow that you just that's the more we can sort of guide or you know, direct, will make life a lot easier. You know, so yeah, yeah, it's strange because you say her energy, which is really weird because normally we associate, or you know, most people associate the sun with male energy. I don't look at it male or female in a way. It's like it's got both sides of it in a way. It is the yin and the yang. Every day's a school day, Crystal. Every day's learning, don't we? We enjoy learning and exploring life. That's what it should be about, shouldn't it? Every day I'm always learning something new. I always like to have at least sort of like 2 or 3 moments during the day where you kind of go, all right. No matter what, you know, no matter what. It's always, you know, maybe it's not learning and maybe it's more sort of remembering or anything like that. All right. So, Chrissy, you turned up just as I was actually saying goodbye, and then it all sort of sparked off again. And I was going to sort of like say goodbye again. So, you know, Chrissy, it was lovely to see you. Hope you're doing well. You know, Crystal, thanking you very much for being here as well. Julie, Ozzy, Suli, Coral, Stacey, Kate Perryman. Lovely to see you. Is it Kat Perryman? I might be getting it wrong. Dragon, lovely to see you. Nikota, lovely to see you. Little River, lovely to see you. Kevin, beautiful to see you. Yeah, lovely to see everybody that was here. Just making sure I haven't missed anyone, because I always like to sort of say goodbye to everyone, as it were. Yeah, so Shirley as well, and Janet as well. Lovely to see you, Janet. Yeah, so, you know, hang on a second, I've lost all the comments again. I'll find it in a second. Because obviously, you know, it's the, you know, obviously we talk about sort of like Mother Earth and stuff like that, you know. So, but, you know, I never thought of the sun like that. I don't think of the sun like that, in male and female. They do it in Latin based, so like in French and Italian, Spanish and all of those sort of like languages. You know, they tend to sort of like give it a masculine sort of side to it. And I can understand it because it's a bit imposing, but, Generally, I don't really sort of do that. Thanking you very much. Yes, good night all. I will see you all very soon. Thanking you very much for being here. You know what I mean? Together we are the solution. We're all part of the solution. Thanking you very much. Yes, goodbye, Crystal. Keep shining from within. Always, never stop. We'll have to catch up with it on replay. Yes, you will do, Chrissy. What happened, man? What happened? You just like, you know, have you got busy? You got a busy day on, have you, or have you had a busy night on and stuff like that? I hope you're doing well anyway, Chrissy. It's always lovely to see you here. Yeah, and flicker it did. Okay, I soaked it up, and now I know it flows through me after making me feel good. People feel, especially females, do feel the sun activity incredibly. You know, multitudes of people I know do feel when the sun's kicking off. And, you know, when it does kick off, you know, often the person I'm speaking to will turn around to me and sort of say, you know, I can feel it. You know, and it does, you know, heart attacks go up when we get heightened solar activity. Issues with heart attacks, mental illness as well, anxiety as well. Thanking you, Little Wave. Enjoy what's coming up, Little Wave. It's going to be fun. Don't try too hard. Just enjoy it. Nikota, same thing for you. Don't try too hard. Let it just happen. And seriously, by the end of the week, you'll be looking at life kind of going, do you know what? It's different. Ivy, hi. I didn't say goodbye to you. Every time I eat, even healthily, my solar plexus gets bloated. Is there specific food that's good for it? I wouldn't say it's the solar plexus. I'd say it's more sort of like, yeah, your stomach and your digestive system that probably. Okay, there is another aspect of it as well that we keep, you know, gives me heart hiccups. Yeah, it could well do. So if you're looking at your intestines and stuff like that, have you been bottling up a lot of things and swallowing a lot of things? In other words, swallowing emotions rather than saying something. You kind of go, no, I better not say it. I'll just pop it down there on the intestines, because that's what it seems like. You know, and it's giving you, what it's doing on the intestines, it's creating a stress that's then sort of like giving it a backwash of energy in a way that's sort of not allowing your stomach to empty itself, and it tends to ferment a little bit too quickly. There's other things as well. I'd also look at taking what's that orangey yellow spice? I can't. Indian. It's associated with Indian food. It's a root. I can't even remember the name. It's obviously getting late. Yes. So yeah, could well turmeric. I think that's it. It's turmeric. So you know, it might well be that, rather than the solar plexus. The solar plexus, it may give you bloating. Say, like if you have children or offspring who just take up way too much space. I know that sounds a bit harsh, but you know, it could be a little bit like that. Turmeric, exactly. Not saffron. No, saffron's like the stanchions of the crocus, isn't it? Yeah, turmeric. Turmeric will probably help you out with that sort of thing as well, and don't hold things in. Ivy, say it. You know, yeah, say it more than anything else. What's the question mark about, Crystal? What's the question mark about? What didn't you get? The turmeric or the saffron? Saffron's lovely. It's very expensive as well, isn't it? You know, I know someone who does it, who farms it. Really nice. Over in the Pyrenees. But anyway, thanking you all very much for being here. Really do appreciate it. As per usual, it's lovely to see everybody. And, you know, I will see you very soon at some given point in the very near future. And, you know, what was that? What was that? What was the thing about cumin or turmeric? Turmeric. It was turmeric. Yeah. So, you know, thanking you all very much for being here. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget, you know, life should be fun. So please do enjoy.